If you think that you only have 3 credit scores, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. In this video, I'm going to break down how many credit scores that you have and what categories they belong to. Hello everyone, my name is Calvin Russell and I'm a certified FICO professional and the CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit. Let's get right into it. Okay, so the first credit scores that we're going to take a look at is going to be the FICO scores. Now, 90% of all lenders use FICO scores, okay? So these are what I like to call your overall scores, all right? So now you're going to have your Equifax, your TransUnion, and your Experian. Now, the reason why I call these overall scores is because these are what you're going to see when you first log into My FICO. This is also what you're more than likely going to see if you have like a free credit score through a lot of different providers. And if they give you a free FICO score, more than likely it's going to be an overall score. Now, overall scores are typically seen when you log in to look at your credit. And then you also see these types of scores when you are applying for, let's say, an apartment. All right. So now these are going to be the first 3 scores. All right. So as you can see, 550 is going to be for Equifax, 562 is going to be with TransUnion, and then of course 556 is going to be with Experian for this example. Now, the next thing is going to be your mortgage scores. Now, this is where a lot of people don't know. People don't know that you actually have what they call category scores. Okay, so now the first category is going to be mortgages. Let's go ahead and see what that is. Now, these are going to be your mortgage scores. Now, you can see it says FICO score 5, 4, and 2. These are the scores that are most widely used to determine if you qualify for a mortgage. If you guys are interested in knowing what your real mortgage score is, then what you want to do is you want to drop the highest score, you want to drop the lowest score, and then regardless of the bureau, you're going to go with the one that's left over. So in this example, you're going to drop the lowest score, which in this case is a 462. You're going to drop the highest score, which in this case is a 525. And then the middle score, regardless of the bureau, is going to be Equifax. Some people think your mortgage score is adding all 3 of them up and then dividing it by 3. That is not a mortgage score. And some people get confused when we say middle score by looking at the score that's in the middle. As you can see here, this would be the highest score, so you cannot go that route. It's always the one that's not the highest and not the lowest. Okay, then the next thing is it's only one way to see all of these scores, and that's to go to myfico.com. Now, another way to see these scores would be to apply for some of these things in those categories. For example, if you want to see your credit card score, you have to apply for a credit card and then get denied, but then you have to apply for a credit card that pulls all 3 bureaus and then see those scores. Then the same thing with a mortgage company. If you apply for a mortgage, then of course, whether you get denied or approved, then they'll show you those scores. You don't have to do that. Those are going to be hard pulls, which is hard inquiries, which can affect your score, versus if you go this route, then you'll be able to see all of them. Now, if you say, okay, well, what exactly is a mortgage score? You can see right here that there's actually a question mark. Let me see if I can zoom in so you guys can see this a little bit better. So you can see right there that there is a question mark. When you click on that question mark, it has a breakdown, okay? And I'm gonna read that breakdown so you guys can see this. And it says, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see the best that this can be. Okay, there we go. All right, so now it says a FICO score 5 is based on Equifax data. FICO score 4 is based on TransUnion data, and FICO score 2 is based on Experian data, and they are older FICO score versions used predominantly in the mortgage industry. These versions may also be used by some lenders for other credit product applications, evaluations, such as credit cards, personal loans, retail credit, and student loans. FICO scores 5, 4, and 2 range from 300 to 850, and of course, higher scores are better. All right, so that gives you the breakdown there on where those scores actually are coming from. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go back here, and then as we go back, we're then going to go ahead and scroll down to the next category, which is going to be auto loans. Now, this is where it starts to increase the amount of scores that you have. So, okay, let's go ahead and go through the list. So the first score is going to be the FICO Auto Score 8. Then, of course, you have Auto Score 9, and then Auto Scores 5, 4, and 2. Now, as you can see here, FICO Score Auto Score 8 is going to be the most widely used. And of course, you have all 3 bureaus here. Now, pay attention to these scores here, and I'm going to break that down, the question mark. Now, of course, everyone's scores are going to be different. So I want to make sure you're not just looking at these and saying, oh, is it that much of a difference? Look, let's see an example here. So let's say, for example, we're looking at Equifax. This is a 514. If we look at an auto score 9, then that's a 517. And if we go with a FICO score 5, 4, and 2, you're a 490. That person's a 495. So the reason why I'm showing you this is because, let's say for example, you go to a dealership and they're using these older scores to determine if you want to get approved for an auto loan. This is how people get different types of interest rates. What I think that a lot of people should do more of is actually going to the dealership, or before you go to the dealership, I'm sorry, is to ask them what scores they use. That way you know what those scores are before you even go in, and it sets your expectations. Again, if we go here and if you look at the middle scores of 548, then this is a 507, and then this is a 513. Those are different scores. Now let's take a look to see what those most widely used scores are. I'm going to click on the question mark here, and it says right here that the FICO Auto Score 8. Okay, so now FICO Auto Score 8 is a FICO score version that is fine-tuned for auto lending. Many banks, auto dealers, and other lenders use this version for auto financing evaluation. FICO Auto Score 8 ranges from 250 to 900. Higher scores are better. So again, this is where people got confused and they'll say, oh, I have a 900 credit score, and they'll see something over 850. It is possible, but only with an Auto Score 8. All right. Now the next one that we're going to go to, well, you know what? Actually, let's go back here, back into the auto loan, so you guys can see the Auto Score 9, and then I'll go ahead and click on the question mark there. Okay. And so this one says that they released the FICO Auto Score 9 in 2014, and it is the most common auto industry specific score after the FICO Auto Score 8. The FICO Auto Score 9 ranges from 250 to 900, and of course the higher scores are better. Then let's go to the FICO 5, 4, and 2. Now, we also just learned that the 5, 4, and 2 is used for mortgages. Okay. Now, this one is the FICO Auto Score 5 based on Equifax data, the FICO Auto Score 4 based on TransUnion data, and the FICO Auto Score 2 based on Experian data are earlier FICO score versions that are fine-tuned for auto lending. Many banks, auto lenders, and other lenders may use these versions for auto financing evaluation. And of course, the higher the score, the better it's going to be. Now let's go ahead and go to the next set of scores. And this is why I wanted to break all of this down, because again, a lot of people don't know that they have so many other different types of scores. Also, if you're serious about increasing your credit score, qualifying for homeownership, or even lowering your car payment, we can help you just like we helped all of these people that you're seeing right here on your screen. Scan the QR code right here or click the link in the description below to learn more about the 850 Club Elite. The next category we're going to check out is going to be the credit card scores. Now, this one is going to have a lot of versions as well, but the most commonly used are going to be the FICO Bank Card Score 8 and the FICO Score 9. Let's go ahead and check out the 8. Okay, so now this one, as you can see here in this example, is a 527, 561, and a 542. Then you want to go ahead and click on the question mark to understand it better. Now, as you can see here, it says the FICO Bank Card Score 8 is a FICO score version that is fine-tuned for credit card lending. Many credit card issuers use this version when pulling a credit report. The FICO Bank Card Score 8 ranges from 250 to 900, and of course, the higher the score, the better. Now, let's take a look and see how much of a difference this is going to be once you switch between scores. So as we can see here, we're looking at the 8. Let's go and change it to a 9. Let's see the highest score, 561 in this example, is going to drop down to a 523. So as you can see there, that makes a huge difference. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what the 9 is all about. So they released the FICO Score 9 in 2014. Many lenders subsequently adopted this version, and it is the most common version after FICO Score 8. FICO Score 9 ranges from 300 to 850. The higher the score, the better. And then you're going to be looking at older score models that they still use. It's not many of them that still use this. This is another reason why they wanted more competition in the marketplace, because FICO has had so many different types of scores, and they pretty much kind of monopolize it over time. And you can see here that, of course, about the FICO Score 9 2014, same thing there. And this was a bank card score. So, and then they just changed it. So they say, hey, this is the 9, but this is the bank card score 9. And that's the thing. These financial institutions, they're not forced to use a specific score. But when FICO says, hey, this is the bank card score, then the assumption is it's best to use that when they are making credit card evaluations. And then, of course, you got the 5, 4, and 2, which we went over. And then you got a really old score, the FICO Score 3. Only Experian had this back in the day. And if you click on this, this is going to be the FICO Score 3 was based on Experian data and is an earlier FICO score version Used predominantly in credit card lending, it may also be used by some lenders for other credit product application evaluations such as personal loans, retail credit, student loans, etc. FICO score 3 ranges from 300 to 850. Of course, the higher the score, the better it's going to be. All right. So now let's go ahead and go to, now these are going to be the newer versions because a lot of people don't understand what the newer versions are and what the breakdown is. So if you haven't taken any notes, you most definitely want to take notes on this one. Okay. So now this is going to be the FICO 10. Then you're going to have the FICO 10T. Then you have the new auto scores. This is going to be the auto score 10T, and this is going to be the FICO bank card score. This is going to be the other bank card score 10T. Okay. And so now let's go ahead and go back to the top here and let's break down what these scores are. So now you have the FICO score 10. Now this came out this year. You're going to see more lenders and financial institutions use this as we progress. But FICO says they've recently released this new version of the FICO score. At this time, consider your score a preview of what many lenders will likely use in the future. This updated version captures the subtle shifts in consumer credit data that have occurred over the last 5+ years since the FICO score 9 launched, such as the increasing of personal loans. These scores range from 300 to 850. Of course, the higher the score, the better. Then you have the one that has everyone talking, and this is going to be the FICO score 10T. Now everything is switching over to what they call trended data. So let me break that down, at least in the FICO, what their definition is. And that's going to be, they said that they recently released this new version of the FICO score. At this time, consider your score a preview of what many lenders will likely use in the future. FICO score 10T builds on the FICO score 10 by also assessing trended credit bureau data when determining your score. The trended data considers a longer historical time frame, which of course the previous 24 to 30 months of your balances and your credit limits to get a more refined view of your credit risk. The scores range from 300 to 850, and of course the higher the scores, the better. This is going to be key, guys. This means that they're going to be looking at the last 2 to 3 years of your balances. So what you're using, what you're not using, what your credit limits are, if they're going up, if they're going down, if they're closing cards out. So it's not just the score itself. They're more so looking at, okay, how is this person using credit? How is this person using their money for credit? Then you have the auto score 10. This is going to be different. Now, and then this one says they recently released a new version of FICO Auto Score. At this time, consider your score a preview of what many lenders will likely use in the future. This updated version captures the subtle shifts in consumer credit data that has occurred over the last 5 years since FICO score 9 launched, such as increasing the use of personal loans, because a lot of people have been using personal loans. I would say probably like not the past 5 years, but at least the past 3 for sure. And these scores are going to range from 250 to 900. And of course, the higher the score is going to be better. Then the last but not least on this particular one is going to be the FICO bank card score. So there's a chance that a lot of credit card companies are going to be switching over to this particular score model. And this one is that they're saying that they recently released this new version of the bank for the FICO bank card score. At this time, consider your score a preview of what many lenders will likely use in the future for credit card decisioning. This updated version captures the subtle shifts in consumer credit data that has occurred over the last 5+ years since FICO score 9 launch, such as the increasing of personal loans. The scores range from 250 to 900, and of course, the higher the score it is, the better it's going to be. And not when they say that, they're just simply saying that the higher your score is, the better the approval chances are for you. So there you have it. Those are all of the credit scores that you have with FICO. Now let's go ahead and jump on over to VantageScore. So now what I decided to do is show you guys a side-by-side comparison, and then we'll go ahead and go over to VantageScore.com because they don't have a side-by-side comparison on their site, at least the one I haven't seen. Okay, so now with the VantageScore 3.0 versus the VantageScore 4.0, you're going to see here with the VantageScore 3.0 is going to be, they're going to number one is going to be the credit data. They're going to analyze a snapshot of credit information. This is the one that's currently out right now. Now, technically the 4.0 is out, but right now it's really on the lender level, but I haven't seen it where they're giving access to consumers. Then you have, of course, on the Vantage 4.0 side, they're going to be using trended data to analyze trends and financial behavior over time. So just like FICO was, they're looking to see, what are you trending? Are you trending to a more riskier client or a less riskier client? Then you have machine learning. It doesn't use machine learning to score people with limited credit history, which means if you don't have that much credit, it's not going to be, doing any type of AI learning. Versus 4.0 is going to use machine learning to develop scores for people with limited credit histories, essentially saying, hey, based on what this person is doing, this is more than likely what a person is going to be, just based on what they've been doing recently. Then you have public records. Now, VantageScore 3.0 is not on the reports, but if there is a public record, for example, like bankruptcies, we're more so talking about like civil judgments that used to be on there. Outside of bankruptcies, that's the only time you're going to see public records. Even with evictions, unless evictions turn into like a collection, that's the only time it's going to actually be on there, because technically an eviction was a civil judgment back in the day, which are no longer going to be on credit reports. Now with VantageScore 4.0, this one does not account for public records like tax liens. Again, now tax liens no longer show up on credit reports either, again, along with those civil judgments. Now, credit card utilization. This is going to analyze credit card utilization for the previous month. It's always been like this, but VantageScore 4.0, they're going to analyze credit utilization for up to 2 years prior, giving a longer term history. So essentially saying, hey, if you had balances higher, like, a year ago, 2 years ago, that's going to play a role in this particular score. Then, of course, you have the factor weighing. So now you have payment history, which is 40%. The depth of credit, which is 21%, and then your credit utilization, which is 20%, your balance is 11%, new credit 5%, and available credit is going to be 3%. Now, again, it's always been like this. Now, VantageScore 4.0, this is going to dig a little bit deeper into payment history, and then it's going to go into depth of credit, 20%, credit utilization, 20%. It's not going to take that much of a difference into balances. So even though they're going back in the past, looking at your, like how you use your balances, they're going to put a lower weight, for when they're calculating your credit score. Then you're going to have your new credit. They're going to be looking at how often you're getting approved for new types of credit. Then, of course, your available credit went down a little bit to 2%. So again, these are major changes that are happening with the VantageScore 4.0. And then you can see on the VantageScore website how it says machine learning technology, and they're just kind of going into how they're saying data scientists at VantageScore, they use machine learning to look closer into the credit histories. Let me zoom in on this so you guys can see this just a little bit better. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna move this here. All right, and then it says machine learning is a type of AI that lets computers learn from data, identity patterns, and automatically make decisions. And this was, of course, is used to develop the VantageScore model. Okay, now because of that, it gave a 10% increase, a 10% lift for users that had dormant credit history. So people that gotten older, they didn't use their credit as much, and then a 30% lift for people that had no accounts at all, like no trade lines, and that's what it says, no trades. Now, the next is going to be trended data, and it's a catch-22. Conventional models require you to use credit in order to have credit, and then your score goes down because you use too much. VantageScore is the first and only tri-bureau credit monitor model to incorporate trended data to help its consumers avoid those traps. Trended data reflects the changes in behaviors over time, which we went over as well. And then the next thing is going to be scores are consistently retained. Let me move this back. The scores are consistently retained, and it says right here that aided by the proprietary VantageScore attribute leveling process, a high level of score consistency across the NCRAs is maintained. VantageScore 4.0 continues to provide the most consistent scores of all the VantageScore models. So now you all see all of the scores that you have, and now you know what people mean when they say, well, I only have 3 credit scores, I only have 2 credit scores. They are wrong. Most people don't know that they have this many credit scores, okay? Let me know what you think about all these credit scores. Is it too much? Let me know inside the comment section below, and we'll see you guys on the next video.